First of all, a very good evening to all the participants. I'm Sandeep Bansali from the team GIBS Business School, Bangalore. We all are connected as a part of GIBS IRE Talks. The GIBS IRE Talk brings the inspirational speakers to deliver the sessions on innovation, research, and entrepreneurship. And today's IRE topic is how entrepreneurs can use design thinking. And the keynote speaker is Ms. Shikha Nag. I'm really happy to welcome you. And she is an author. She is, I'll be reading out the entire profile, but I'm really happy to be with you and moderate this event. Now, it's a privilege for me and honor to me to be a part of this particular webinar.
Thank you.
And I would also love to welcome all these participants of IRE Talks on behalf of GIBS Business School family. And please allow me to share a few words before we begin about GIBS Business School, Bangalore. GIBS Business School is a place where talents are nurtured, ambitions cherished, ideas shared, and dreams fulfilled. GIBS Business School is a part of Govt Educational Trust, which is an exclusive business school based in Bangalore. GIBS offers two programs, PGDM, which is an AICTE approved, and BBA from Bangalore University. I'm very, very happy and delighted to announce recently GIBS has been ranked 5th best emerging B school in India and 9th best business school for BBA placements by Times of India in 2022. To prepare its students for success, GIBS has designed Industry 4.0 curriculum and introduced a number of unique programs such as the IRE School, GIBS Finishing School, Sports Management Certification Program, Business Mastery Program, and so on and so forth. And it gives us immense pleasure to announce that last week, GIBS has been chosen as India's top prestigious higher education and university award 22-23 under the category of 50 best private B schools by Education Today. And it's my honor and privilege to introduce warm greetings to Ms. Shikha Nag and to introduce Madam as a keynote speaker. So please allow me to introduce you, ma'am. It would be really, I'll be glad to introduce you. So Ms. Shikha Nag is a founder and head of the Indian Academy of Public Speaking. She owns the branch Indian Academy of Public Speaking. She has spoken at Tedx events 3 times. She's also an author of Amazon-listed book, Tear the Fear, 3D Approach to Public Speaking. Ms. Shikha is Mrs. India World 2016, second runner-up, an internationally certified image consultant from ICBI and a Council Institute of Image Management, USA. Ms. Shikha has been invited to speak as a keynote speaker and thought leader at various events such as the Women's Top 50 Conference 2019, Biocon 2018, CII, WEFT 2019, Future Women Leadership in Bali, Indonesia, and many more. She's also been recognized as Times Power Women in 2019 by Times of India. I must say, ma'am, you have a lot of things to be read, but please apologize. I'm cutting short your profile here. I request all the participants to put your Q&A in the Q&A section. We'll be taking it at the end of the session. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sandeep, and a very, very warm welcome to each and every one of you who have joined today. I'm very happy to share with you the learnings that I had during my journey in setting up this business. So I'm very happy to share the learnings with you, but I must say that I will also would like to invite your questions, and I would also like to invite you to share your learnings with me because I'm always learning. So let's make it a both-way learning session. To start with, let me ask if we have the provision, if they can reply in the Q&A. You don't have to ask questions, but if you can just reply. Any of you are struggling that I want to start something of my own, but I don't know what to do. Or I have so many ideas, but I struggle. What exactly is that I want to do? What exactly is going to be more successful? So are you struggling between ideas, or are you struggling to have one? Anyone, if you can raise your hand. Do they have reactions? Sandeep? Yeah, yes. I can see 2 people giving us the reactions that you have or you struggle. So so let me ask one by one. Are you struggling with having one idea that you can start with your entrepreneur journey? All right, let's see. If you're struggling to have an idea. Okay, so I see a lot of people raising their hands. And are you struggling to choose between, or are you struggling to choose one idea from the many ideas that you have. So what is that you're struggling with? Okay, so I can see the replies here. One second. The same thing happened with me in 2016. I took a break for about 8 years. I used to work with Taj Group of Hotels. I have worked with many corporate companies and, in different functions. And I was struggling when I wanted to come back to work. And I decided that I'm going to start something of my own. But I was struggling with to get one idea of my own. And during this journey, during this struggle, what happened is that I moved from Bombay to Bangalore. And my younger son was struggling with confidence issues, with learning issues. To an extent that a lot of people started identifying my younger son with learning disabilities, dyslexia, so on, so forth. But I realized that it was not the issue. The child did not have learning disabilities. The child did not have what doctors were saying. I identified that it was a major confidence issue that my child was struggling because it was a sudden change of school for him. And I started looking for programs that can help my child developing confidence. And trust me, in 2016, when I was looking for any program that can help specifically with his speaking abilities, with his confidence issues, I could not find one. Then I decided, can I help him? And I started teaching him. I started asking him, I started giving him those opportunities. And then I realized if I can do that, and I could see the change with him. And I realized that I was going through the same thing in my childhood when I suffered with major confidence issues. One teacher gave me that opportunity. He said, Shikha, why don't you go on stage and speak? I struggled. I was shivering. But again and again, I got those opportunities, guidance, and I became one of the top speakers. I started winning competition. I started loving stage, and I could see the same journey I was passing to my son. And then I identified that this is something that I can start with. I don't have to sit, research. There is a problem right in front of me. If I am looking for a solution, I'm sure there will be many parents like me who will be looking for a program like this. And that's how I started Indian Academy of Public Speaking. I started with one batch in December 2016, not even a single student register. It was a complete failure. And I started wondering, maybe nobody requires it. Then I started going back and I tried to understand what actually went wrong. And I realized the problem was the timing. Then I again launched it during the summer vacations time. And then I got 5 registration. That's it. And let me tell you, out of those 5, 2 are my own kids. But I started it. I said, that means there is a demand. That means there is a need. And then I started my first batch in Sarjapur, Bangalore, in a small library. And that's how, when I saw the response, I said, okay, there is a demand, there is audience. And then I started in Indranagar and I got 8 students. And from then, now I started with 10 centers in Bangalore, 4 in Mumbai. And then in pandemic, we went online. Now we have students from all around the world, both offline and online. So what the idea that I wanted to share with you is that if you need an idea, you need to be a little more observant. Look around. You don't have to sit, find out a very innovative thing, something that is going to something that's going to be out of the box, the idea may be lying just in front of you. So this is what I'm going to be teaching you. How can we make it much more structured? How can we use design thinking, which was, I would say, coined. The term was we started using it around 1860, but formally structured by Stanford University. And they started using in the world of the corporate, teaching people how to use design thinking to come up with more creative solutions. So that is design thinking. And I will be taking you through the presentation. And I hope that you will get a structured approach to arrive to an idea or ideas. Let's start. Allow me to share the screen. let's look at what is design thinking. As I shared with you, design thinking is a user-centric approach, solution-driven approach. I repeat, user-centric. I feel that this is a good idea. Not I feel, audience, receivers. That is what I'm looking at. So every time I will come up with an idea, I will look from the user point of view. Similarly, the same concept I teach in public speaking. I always tell my speakers, don't speak from your point of view only. Look what audience is looking forward from your speech. Then your idea, then your speech will be more acceptable. Similarly, when you come up with an idea and you use a user-centric approach, finally, who will be using your product or services or your idea? When you start looking from the user point of view, you start arriving at solutions from the user point of view, that will be much more acceptable in the market. So that is design thinking, which means design thinking is a user-centric solution-based approach to problem solving. I'm talking from the aspect of creating your entrepreneur journey or how can you use to come up with an idea, but they also use this design thinking to come up with simple problems that they're facing in the business world. Let's start. Anyone has a question? Yes, Sandeep?
Ma'am, I just, if you could just make it as a full screen so it is more
Sure.
visible.
Sure. Is it better?
It's
all
perfect,
right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. The one that I'm sharing with you is widely used, and as I said, formally coined by the Stanford University. We use the same concept, starting with the 18-year-old to a 30-year-old and to a 12-year-old. And they could come out with ideas. They could choose one idea. They could create a complete business plan along with a prototype. If a 12-year-old can do, if a 14-year-old can do, which was part of our leadership program, and an 18-year-old and a 30, this can be used by anyone and everyone. 5 simple steps, and the first and the foremost and the most important is empathize. Empathize with people. Try to put yourself in others' shoes. And then you will realize, actually, a problem like this can really exist. So empathize is the first stage in design thinking. When you're having conversations, you might think, how can somebody have a problem like this? I don't think somebody can, this idea can be useful, or this can actually be a need. But once you start putting yourself in the shoes of others, you learn to empathize, you learn to look for solutions that someone in the market would be requiring. Empathize. Once you start empathizing, once you start understanding, interview different problem areas, you define what exactly is the problem. Clearly define what exactly is the problem. Once I will give you examples, don't worry about it. I'm just going to take you through one by one. Once you define the problem, then you start putting ideas, brainstorming. How can I solve this problem? Okay, I think I can solve it like this, 1, 2, 3. Then you start brainstorming ideas one by one. And then you need to choose one idea which you feel can be enterprising and can help you extract, I repeat, this is very important, and can help you extract economic value out of it. Once you choose that idea, you put a prototype of it, or we rather call it as a prototype. It's not exactly the advanced stage of a prototype, but a prototype. And then you try that prototype with 4 or 5 users. If needed, more. And when you see people are finding value in it, people are finding it useful, people are getting excited about it, test it. Once you have tested it, see what are the areas that you need to work, and that's how you bring that idea. I'll give you my example, because once I started this journey of Indian Academy of Public Speaking, I started with classes. One parent, and every time a parent comes and I have this instruction to my team, any problem which is different raised by any parent should come to my table. Why? Because that's where I innovate, and that's where I look for solutions. And that's how I have been able to grow and change quickly. Parents came with the requirement that you are teaching public speaking, but what about giving the real-time experience, which is lacking in the market? So for 1 year, we were only coaching public speaking skills. How do you do it? All of that. Then I completely changed the program. We started organizing 40 events in Bangalore, in Rangasthala, and various auditoriums where all the students who are part of our academy will perform. We started giving the opportunities that parents were looking for. And that's how we were innovating. There is no company which gives you real-time experience when it comes to public speaking to the students. In school, one may get it. I realized that area, the gap, that most of the parents will be looking forward. And that's how I found my unique proposition. So listen, observe, and empathize with people. That's how you keep innovating, you keep refining, and that's how you get new ideas, either to start a business or keep innovating in your business. So 1, empathize, define, ideate, prototype, create a prototype, and then test it in the market, see what you need to change, and then finally launch it in the market. Learn about the audience for whom you are designing by observation and interview. Who is my user? What matter to this person? Define. As I said, if you want, you can take a picture of this. Create a point of view that is based on user needs and insights. What are their needs? Exactly, start defining. Because when people talk, they talk so much. You have to identify clearly what exactly is the problem. And once you define it, you start brainstorming, coming up with as many ideas, creative solutions as much as possible, wild ideas, encourage wild ideas. So, and it may sound, I don't think this is workable. Oh, this is something out of the world, but write it down. That's how you see Amazon came in. That's how you see companies. We never thought OYO will design something like this. So models will come only when you encourage wild ideas. At least list it down. Then once you have created, then look for one idea which you can create a prototype, the one that you can actually feel you can extract economic value out of it, test it, you're ready for that idea, and you're ready for the launch. Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. We all know that about. Now, what is entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is a person, if we look from the business and a generic term, is a person who starts a business, who can create an economic value out of products and services. But in the terms of the economics, it's someone who can create product and services with innovations. From innovations, he can create product and services. That's what is the real definition from the point of view of economics. There are different kinds of entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, social entrepreneurs, and then there are entrepreneurs who can create products and services from innovations. Give the form, give innovation the form of product and services. The first thing that you will do, this is what we told all our students to do, is just ask 5 simple questions to people around you. For example, and this is what you can try, and you will see how many ideas you will start getting. Ask people, in last 1 week or in last 1 month, what is that you have purchased the most? So this will help you understand their purchasing pattern. Why you did so? What are the problems that you faced? And in which areas you faced the problem, like or procuring any specific product? Or you were looking for a product that you were not able to find. Start asking questions to these people. My advice is that take different groups. Groups, when I say, for example, you can divide the groups on the basis of age. You can divide the groups on the basis of geographies. It's up to you. But when you start asking them these questions, you will realize and you will be able to identify gaps pain points, and that is where you will find your idea. Let's take some examples. I'll give you this very, very interesting example. And I was very surprised that somebody can come out with an idea like this. So we gave this, and she said that most of our friends have got pets. And these are young girls. And we are not able to find, we love dressing up our pets. And we are not able to find dresses for our pets. I was like, I don't think, I mean, the normal reaction for anybody would be like, but who actually does that? Who would require clothing for pets? And this girl is not from India, she's from abroad. And then I realized there is a big market, pet-friendly market, which is actually there. Who could have imagined in 1860 we would come up with food for pet, like Pedigree came in and different companies came in. And now people are looking for clothing for pets. And she said, I want to create the website. And she created a wonderful prototype. And she was able to sell 5 units to her friends only. And that's how it's just started. The ideas may be lying somewhere. So you start talking to people, start asking them questions. And this is how you will understand, again, gaps, pain points, write them down and see how you can solve them. For example, out of all the pain areas, you've analyzed one pain area. Ladies find it difficult to cook breakfast or tiffins for their kids early in the morning. Then is there something, for example, you identify that area that this actually is a problem that is existing and I would like to solve that. Then you can look for solutions. What is that all I can do? Can I create an app which will just give ideas to women? Or can I create a ready to prepare meal? Or can I create an app where they can quickly order in 10 minutes breakfast or can deliver food, whatever they are choosing with their dietary requirements in their schools? Imagine there will be multiple ideas and then you choose one. Okay, am I app savvy? I don't think that creating an app is something that I can do, maybe, but I'm not a cook. Suppose you're identifying your own capabilities, matching your own capabilities. I don't think I'm a great cook, but I identify this as a problem. Maybe what I can do is that I can aggregate the suppliers, the cooks. So this is how you start getting ideas. Any questions you would like to write it down in the Q&A, you can put it there and I will address, and I'll see if I can address while I'm taking the session, but keep putting your questions and I will try to read them. Okay, someone mentioned about the risk factor and I will cover about it. I struggled with it as well. And that's a difference between a professional and an entrepreneur. If you want to identify yourself, that are you made to be an entrepreneur? The first thing that you actually do is to assess your risk-taking abilities. One second, my camera got. Can you see me now? Yes. Yes. So the people who were able to become entrepreneurs versus people who had many ideas, wanted to become entrepreneurs, but they could not. One reason was appetite for taking risks. And that is one clear difference between a person who could and the person who could not. Risk-taking capacity, or not capacity, rather I would say appetite. The right word would be appetite for risk. All right, now we move on. As I said, we identify, we observe in and around and try to find out gaps, pain points, and then we brainstorm multiple ideas and see which one idea I can make it enterprising by extracting economic value out of it. And that's when I identify, I create the prototype of it, test it in the market. If it works, good. If it doesn't work, I make changes, or maybe I go to another solution, again, create a prototype, test it in the market, create it, refine it, reform it, and then I have an idea. I have a business proposition to make. Is that clear, everyone? I may have 10 ideas. Now, how do I choose one? Very, very important. Not everybody can do everything. I have seen entrepreneurs making these mistakes. Even sometimes people make these mistakes, is that if someone is successful in one thing, they will jump to it. Oh, if this person was successful, I can also do it. Two people are different. Their passion, their capabilities, their risk-taking appetite, different. So don't jump in the boat of the others just because others are sailing. Maybe you will drown. So how do you choose? Again, you factor in your appetite for taking risk, your passion for something, your passion, and practicality. Is it practical for you right now? Will you be able to devote what it requires? Do you have those resources, or can you acquire those resources? The practicality, passion, problem, and you having a solution and a prototype ready. That's when you actually jump into the boat and test it. Look for your interest. For example, I love doing fashion things, and I really enjoy being fashionable, buying new clothes and fashion and design. But can I start the business of fashion? Maybe not. Because I enjoy dressing up myself, but I don't have the skills to do it for someone else. One. Second, I don't have interest beyond a point. I mean, I like shopping for myself, but after 1 hour, I don't like it. Once I went with my sister and I was like, yeah, you're taking too much time. Don't waste, pick it up quickly. But for me, I enjoy that. So I have a friend who's doing an amazing business in fashion. She's very, very successful. Just because I enjoy fashion, also, should I start doing the same thing? No. That's not what I enjoy. That's not what I'm passionate about, and that's not practical for me. And that's maybe I don't identify with that problem. So we have to factor in multiple. And also maybe my risk appetite for a fashion industry, or to start a business in the fashion industry, the risk capacity is very high. Maybe I don't have that. That could be one of the reasons stopping me. So look for your passion, practicality of that idea, your risk-taking appetite, and something matches your capability or experience. And I love taking the real life examples. So I want to finish the theory quickly, and I will take some examples quickly. So passion and practicality, we understood. Now, the next thing is finding your customers. How do you find your customers and test it? Very simple steps. Divide potential customers into groups on the basis of their characteristics or personalities. I'll give you an example, and I was very enchanted by this company who's starting. You can go on Myntra, you can buy quickly a dress. You can go to Amazon, there are multiple suppliers selling it. But this one got in touch with me, and they said, we will make completely customized business suits. So they are into business attires for women. Completely customized, because everybody is different, their body shapes are different, and when it comes to business suits or business attires, it needs to be really fit, right? And they are only doing customized fashion or the business attires for women. And let me tell you, they have a big audience, they have a big customer base. Most of the CXOs and the lady CXOs and ladies who are in business world or are professionals are actually looking and are their customers. I am their pro customers. So something, and if someone would have told me, I would have thought 5 years back, when Myntra is there, you can find everything. When Amazon is there, you can find everything. How come this company identified the pain point? I'll give you an example. I am 5'11" and a half. 5'11" and a half. Till now, I'm not been able to I've not been able to find one trousers, so I have to go to the men's section and sometimes buy the jeans and the trousers. I actually have a need for somebody to customize what I actually like on the website and modify or customize to my requirement. Somebody will have a different body size. They may require customization, and someone identified that pain point, tested with a few customers. So I was their initial customer. They tested with me and they asked me to, do that testing with them, and will I be interested? And I said, definitely, I will be interested. And now you see, and I've seen over the years, amazing, their customer base has magnified. So imagine from where they identified the pain point, they tried with the customers, and that's how they did it. But it is very difficult to get customized clothing to the client. So you can divide your groups on the basis of personality and characteristics. Maybe, for example, I am only looking to serve CXO levels. So maybe my dressing, so then I will target my market and I will test my market with them. Or I'm looking for, I have a very interesting example to give you. I was in UK and I was very enchanted by reading this line, long, tall, Sally. So there is a brand, you can search for it, and it is called Long, Tall, Sally. They have clothing only, and I remember walking in that, in that street, and I was enchanted by it. I was like, okay, there is one shop, designer shop, which is only making clothing for girls who are tall. And I could find everything fitting me so well. So people identified, and that's how they come up with business ideas. Right? So maybe they have identified girls who are really tall, and that's their market segment. So they have characterized it. They have grouped their market segment, and you can do the same. Find the difference between each group. Identify top 5 groups who are your potential customer. For example, I'm going for customized clothing. Who can be my potential customer? You identify them. What circumstances a person will face that problem? Keep dividing group further. One second. Each group should have buying similar products, have similar sales cycle, and have word of mouth. So this is how you identify your market segment. This is how you can find your potential market and test your product. Now, how do you validate your idea? Very, very important. And I keep telling people, and I have seen people making mistakes when they discuss ideas. They said, I'm very passionate about helping people. I'm very passionate about doing this. I always, at the end of the day, I said, what is the economic value? You're passionate about it. But there is something called socialpreneurship. And there is something called entrepreneurship. If you're not able to derive the economic value, if not now, later, then that cannot be called as a business proposition. So remember, your idea should be able to extract economic value. If not now, later. It should have economic value. Check, is your idea useful? And how do you check that? You check with your potential customers, the groups that you have identified. You check with, if you have 2 or 5 groups that you have identified, you check with all of them and see which group is liking it, and see if they're liking it, if they're finding it useful. That means that idea has a use in the market. Meet your end users, test your ideas, and that's how you find your market segment, and that's how you test your idea. The most important, and this is something for people who have niche ideas, very different. It may sound like a weird ideas, but for those people, if you have ideas like that, then you must make sure that you connect with your audience very, very closely. Because in the niche segment, it's not marketing. You can't be spending a lot on social media, or can use marketing tools which are for the masses. So most of your marketing will be done by word of mouth. I'll give you an example. I went to this exhibition and I found a cream which is completely homemade. It's organic, and they make what do you call that, aloe vera gel. And I felt it was actually very, so I became their customer, and I told this to my sister, then all my 3 sisters are using, and I'm sure they also are spreading the word of mouth for that simple product. It's a very new launch. I just recently found it in Phoenix Market City, which is in Bangalore. It was just a small stall. I like the product. So they are in the niche category. They've still not gone big like Sugar Cosmetics or the other cosmetics that you have. They have a niche segment, but they're closely connected with me on my WhatsApp. The way they deal with me, they're very, very closely connected. So if you have a niche product, make sure that you connect with your audience very closely. Another thing, whenever you're choosing an idea, once you've identified after your design thinking, you've come to a conclusion, always look for scalability. This was the biggest learning I had during my entrepreneur journey, because initially when I started, I was the only one teaching public speaking. And I was so skeptical. I was so worried that if I ask another coach to do the same thing, will that person be able to do the way I am doing? Will that person be able to transfer the value the way I am doing? I was skeptical about it. And that's when my learning came, is that as an individual, I cannot scale beyond a point. The most important thing for your idea is scalability. Otherwise, you will end up into that box of solopreneurship. I repeat, solopreneurship, which is fine if that is your choice. But if you really want to be an entrepreneur, if you really want your market to grow, if you really want your brand to go, so look for an idea which can be scalable. So test your idea on the parameters of scalabilities. I'll take this example of GE Healthcare and how they use design thinking. They come up with various solutions. So in GE Healthcare, when you go for these MRI and these checkups, they found that young children were very scared because it's very dark, and they get scared when you take them inside. And then they started interviewing a lot of hospitals, people who were closely related with the patients, and then they came up with multiple solutions that how can we actually make it comfortable for that set of audience. And then one of the ideas that they came up with is, when they are going, why can't we make the visuals of like as if they're in a pirate ship? Make it more animated so they don't get scared. They enjoy, or they get distracted. So they came up with these ideas, and they're constantly innovating, and they started coming up with those machines. And that's how innovation happens. Innovation doesn't happen in labs. It is just renovating what you currently have. And that's how innovations will happen. Keep renovating, and you will find an innovative idea on your table. Let's see. We all are aware about Airbnb, where they went. They wanted to rent. They started with renting mattresses, and they realized if boys like us require mattresses, if we are ready to hire mattresses, and if we are ready to pay for these mattresses, I'm sure there are others also. And this is all they did. They tested with others. And that's how they came up with Airbnb. I keep telling people, don't go out and wait for that sunset or for something out of the blue to happen, or the eclipse to happen for you to get an idea. It may be around you. Just start talking, start observing. The idea may be lying there. Just pick up that idea, brainstorm multiple solutions, see one solution that you can identify, which can be enterprising, which has economic value, which can be scalable, matches with your passion, practicality, and that's where you're ready with your idea. Are we okay with that? Okay. I will be asking you one very, very interesting thing. So let me quickly finish with this. You can read about the Uber Eats. How much time? Okay, we have 5 minutes, Sandeep. Yes, we have 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to do this exercise, and you can just read about this Uber Eats, what they did to make life comfortable for drivers, right? Because they were finding it difficult to park, and that's how they came up with another app, and that's how they increased their efficiencies. Keep understanding pain points, gaps. Innovative ideas comes from there. So imagine the big picture, look for alternative solutions, and very, very important, this was one wonderful learning shared with me by one investor, actually. And I'll just share that with you, is that, so they told me, this is Shikha, what you are doing, anyone else doing? I said, there are companies who are doing it. Were they able to become big? I said, no, there's only one, but it's been there for about 100 years, but we are not their direct competitors because our market segments are different. Then they said, look out. It's not that you only came up with that idea. I'm sure there are people who have done and dusted it. If they were not able to make it big, that means you have to change something in what you are doing. And I used to think, oh, I only came up with this idea, and I said, no, look out, research, keep an eagle eye on your competition. People doing the same business. This was the biggest learning given to me by one of the investors who is under 40, and is one of my mentors. And that learning I always carry. And I keep looking what my competitors are doing. I love to see what they are doing. And if they are not able to make it big, then I keep thinking there is something that I need to change in the model. Because if they are not able to do that, means there is something which is lacking in the model itself. Are we clear with that? Okay. I love, and I had this wonderful honor and opportunity to listen to the owner of the ID Fresh Fruits, ID Idliwala, that we call. And I remember he telling, it was one startup conference, and I had this opportunity to listen to this amazing, inspiring gentleman. He said, Shikha, not Shikha, he was addressing everyone. So he said, he was watching, he was going in the market, and he saw, earlier, they used to make, you'll find these small shops and these machines, and they will grind the idli batter, and they will pack it in the polythene and will give it to the people. And you could see that because, in our homes, we make it at home. If I'll ask my mom, she'll say, no, I make it at home. Why do I need to buy? My mom may have time to do it, but maybe not me. There is a market who would look for something fresh, but something that they don't have to go through so much of time of grinding it. That means there is a market. And what he did is to make it more hygienic, and they did that branding and all of that. They all faced a lot of problems. And he mentioned that one of their idli, because once it ferment, it exploded, the batter. So a lot of things happen. He kept innovating, and he's still doing it. And I think it's almost $100 billion company. But imagine, he identified that actually there is a market who's facing a problem. But if I look from my mother's point of view, who will buy it? We can do it at home. So learn to empathize with people. If someone tells you, I wish someone can do it for us. That's where you have an idea. That's where maybe a pain point is there. Be very observant. And that's all that you need to do. And again, empathize, define what your problem is, come up, brainstorm with multiple ideas, identify one, make a prototype, test it. So this is design thinking framework. You can take the picture, and I have included for you. And if I have questions, I can take it now. But if I have 5 minutes, I'll do a quick exercise of doing live how I can come up with idea for a library case study. That actually was the library where I started my first batch of public speaking. They struggled with it, and I have seen that case study live. So I created a a dummy of it. If do we have time, Sandeep, or do we take Q&A?
Yes, we can take up, probably we will cut down on the questions about, I mean, at the end of that, 2-3 questions we can take up, and so that you can just go ahead with the activity now.
All right. Thank you so much. Allow me to, I'll just stop sharing and I'll just read out that case study. It's a very simple case study. Just raise your hands if you're interested to do it live, how we will arrive at solutions, and we'll see whether it has economic value, whether it has scalability. Please raise your hands and I'll be happy to, share this live with you. Allow me to open this. Why is it not opening?
Good to see that a lot of hands being raised right away. So audience is really quick.
Thank you. Give me a minute. All right. I'll just share my screen in that case. You can see it. All right. You can see this library case study. So I'll just quickly tell you what actually happened in that library. I have changed the name. Bear Library started 5 years back in 2016. They have a wide variety of books, different kind of books. It was doing well with increasing numbers. Members need to pay monthly fee of ₹500. That was their revenue model. That is membership fee. And you can buy 2 books at a time. Members are mostly residents from 5-kilometer area around the library. Mr. Victor Bear is the owner of the library. He's an avid reader, loves books. Because of rise of online books and ebooks, he's been facing decline in membership, and they're struggling to pay their rent, salaries, and other costs. Adding to the losses, in current COVID times, no one is visiting the library. There has been no new membership addition in last 1 year, and no one is ready to renew the membership. The owner is paying the rent and the salary of the staff from his personal saving. He's hopeful that things will be better and he can continue to run the library. This is just the numbers. For example, yearly members till 2018 were 1,000, yearly members till 2019 were 800, members till 2020, 500. So now I would ask all of you to reply in the Q&A box if we have to help Mr. Victor Bear. What do you suggest? So we have identified the problem that the library as a model is not doing well. It's on a decline. So let's come up with ideas, in fact. And I will write here. Okay, any ideas? Any ideas? How do you think let's write down ideas. Do you think that he should, maybe, since a lot of people are not coming to the library, do you think that he can start a delivery service? Maybe he can create an app. Let's do that. He can create an app where he can list down all the books. People can choose, and they can choose their time slots. The way you have Zepto delivery, the way you have Big Basket delivery. Similarly, you can have your delivery and your return of the books can be done through app. So one we identified as an app. What else do you think? Okay, someone is saying that we need to do a lot of advertisement. Fine. One suggestion was start advertising. Okay. I like the idea. Books can be delivered home. Either we can use an app. So books. So the idea is books can be delivered home. Okay. Any more ideas?
Mr. Raghav says we can offer tea or coffee so that they get more inclined towards the beverage, basically.
Lovely. The person who will visit the cafe will get the first coffee free. Right? Okay. Coffee on the house. And maybe converting into a small cafe or rebranding it as a reading cafe. I'm just brainstorming ideas, right? What else?
Mr. Nishan says we can create a small ebook which is available online.
Yes, that's a wonderful idea. We already have a library. We can actually create, let's say, yeah. So what you're saying is that ebook of one book or of all the books? Because, okay, do you think everybody can afford Kindle? So maybe you can find out a solution there. Maybe you can give them ebooks, but a better experience than Kindle that you have to find. Because not everybody can afford it. Not everybody, can access it. So find a solution for that. What else? Do you think that we can create these, you have these mini trucks, which will go to different apartments where students can come, they can see the books, they can enjoy the coffee, and you can create that whole ambience. I have seen the way Idli and the breakfast thing started in various apartments, and that was very, very innovative. Rather than you waiting for the customers to come to you, you are actually reaching out to the customers. So maybe we can create a very innovative truck. So we call it as reading on the go or reading on the road, something like that. All right. So maybe that could be reading.
Basically a kind of reading card.
Absolutely. Now we identified different problem areas. Now think which one excites you and which one would you like to test in the market first, which is easy and fit and actually is fitting your budgets as well. Let's try reading on the road. Okay, then what you do is that you can do a little bit of renovation of the truck, and you can actually test with one apartment. Take the feedback and see if it is working. If you see audience coming to you, maybe that idea is something that you can work further, refine it, reform it, and then you're ready to present it to the market. So brainstorm ideas. And that's how you may find your idea. Or maybe one of you can come up with an app. Maybe if I'm studying my competitor, if Victor Bear Library is my competition, and if I study, if I identify their pain points, I can come up with the idea that I can come up with an app actually, and that could be a new business for me. Are we clear with that? Absolutely. And I would like you to do this exercise in next 1 week. Start talking to people. Ask them question and keep a note of it. Put them into Excel sheet and see, you might find a set which has similarities. You might find an idea there. Is that clear? Now we quickly take the question answers.
Sure. I'll just read out a few of the comments which the people told for this. Rakesh says we can make it as a mobile library. They can make these library at the stick, like a library and cafe together, as again, that is one common point.
Right.
The other one says.
Right.
Open mics to share views on the books reads.
Right. And so much we can do.
And Pooja says can keep some puzzle games so that they get inclined towards more about it. They get involved in it. Offer free membership plans for existing customers and retain customers, those retain existing customers.
Right.
Women.
So you got so many ideas. You got so many ideas. Thank you so much, Sandeep. I'm just going to break it. Sorry to cut you here. You said somebody is saying that, we can reduce the membership price. Fine. So you've got multiple ideas. But is that reducing the membership fees? Is it enterprising? Can it be converted into a new idea? or something like which is enterprising, which can extract economic value? If not, then that idea may not be viable. It is a good idea. You can do that to get business, but we are looking for innovation, right? Again, so this is how I wanted to correct. There will be multiple ideas. See which idea can be converted into an enterprising idea, which can extract economic value, circle those ideas, and then choose one on the basis of scalability, your passion, your, the practicality of the idea, and that's how you choose it. Yeah. Okay.
Ma'am, I could see one nice idea which says women should give additional facilities for kids, where what I brainstorm here is specifically those mothers who have been very, very busy doing a lot of things, have babies, they have no time to read. Whereas you can just leave those kids, make a kids area where they can play and mothers can read by that time.
Absolutely. We can create mother cafes.
Mother cafes, absolutely right, no, as you said.
And let me tell you, there is a company in the market doing the same thing. It's a new one, and they've already got funding. Wow. And they're very big. So I think currently they're very big in Bangalore, but I'm sure they will be expanding in other cities. And there is one company who's working on this ideas, and we have seen their outlets already in Bangalore, and they're funded very, very well. They just identified the problem that working mothers may have this as a requirement where they can leave their children, but at the same time, it's just not a daycare where they can be occupied in multiple activities which are much more structured. Again, that's how you come up with ideas. Yes, I'm just going to, I have certain questions that I've identified and I would like to answer about the design thinking. Someone said that I'm worried about, I have this problem of taking risk. All right, if you're there, when you say you're not, you don't know how to work around with your fear about taking risk, take slowly. You don't have to invest suddenly. That's why this thinking comes in place. They said create prototypes, try with very few set of customers. You don't have to suddenly invest. You like the idea, and I've seen people investing a huge amount of money and they don't follow the structured approach. They don't create prototype, they don't test it before they actually decide to invest in it. If your problem, and I have seen this question coming from people who are professionals and are getting excited to start their journey of entrepreneurship, I would say, and they're very confused about it, I would say just start with this structured process, find the idea, enterprising idea, and then test it in the market. If you start finding users, that means that idea can be converted into something which can give you economic value, and then the other aspects you can evaluate. But remember, if you're really struggling to take risk with your money, then how do you expect investors to take risk with their money, with your idea? This was another very important learning one investor shared it with me. And he said, Shikha, how much money have you invested? First question. And then I said that this is what I have invested, but I'm struggling to invest. And then they said, if your risk, if you are not taking, or if you are not ready to take risk with your money in your own business, how do you expect others to do the same? So if you want to start your entrepreneurial journey, you should be okay to take risk with your money first before you even think someone else can take risk with their money. I hope I answered that question. How can I improve my presentation skill is my weakness. One basic fundamental. More you speak, better you become. The more you restrict yourself, you will stay where you are. You can join any course which can help you developing your communication skills, practicing. And that is one skill that entrepreneurs is vital for entrepreneurs. If you can't communicate your ideas, how do you expect people to believe in you, to trust you, and to invest in you? So that is one vital skills. You have to enroll and you have to practice, practice, practice till you get it. No other way for learning communication skills. I do this with GFS. So GFS is part of the GIBS to do the finishing touch with the students, where we teach them presentation skills, where we teach them communication skills and the right attitude. The most important thing is communication. Let me sum it up this way. And this is what I liked about GFS. Like, we have very small groups and coaches who are mentoring them in these areas: communication, attitude, and presentation, packaging, we call it. Let me ask you, you all are joining this session. You all are joining this session. You're investing your time. You have invested your times in your school, colleges, working hard, reading books, joining courses, to get ideas, knowledge, opinions. But if you're not able to share the ideas, knowledge that you have acquired, opinions with people, you become like this book, which is so well written, has all text, ideas, opinion, everything, but no one has read it. Communication skills is vital. Whether you're a professional, whether you're an entrepreneur, be it your personal or professional life. And that is one thing that you must acquire. Design thinking is futuristic. It is futuristic. It has importance in future. It is vital. Because what is going to set you apart is how quickly you come up with new ideas, how creative you are, how quick you come up with solutions. That is what's going to keep you apart. People have best products in the market, but if they do not innovate quickly, if they do not understand, if they're not user-centric, they will not be able to understand the user's pain point, and they will not be able to live or survive in the markets. We have seen best of the companies, Nokia going down, Motorola going down, because they could not keep pace with their users' requirement. And they were not able to innovate right on time. And we have many examples. So someone asked this question, is design thinking going to be valid in future? That is the future. All right. I think, do we have any other questions that you would like me to answer?
Probably one question we can take more, ma'am. What are the principles of design thinking?
The principles of design thinking is, as I said, is very simple. You need to be user-centric. Again, what I repeated, you need to be user-centric first and foremost, and you need to learn to empathize with people. And the second is able to accept and encourage as many ideas as possible. And one most important thing is, before you create the product, always create a prototype, test it in the market, come back if you need to change the ideas or you need to change or reform anything. That is being user-centric and being solution-driven. Two simple pillars, fundamentals of design thinking. All right, any other questions, or are we done?
I think we had a lot of them, but due to the shortage of time, we were unable to take it up. But I would like to extend my gratitude towards you for sharing such a wonderful information in simplest form possible. And I'm sure all our participants would agree with that the way that you've just put it across the smallest of the ideas, that how can we generate an idea? Just look around you, there are a lot of ideas available. It's just a matter of observation, what you put across, and just find the best fit or the best idea possible. So that's really nice, man. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much, Sandeep, for inviting me and sharing my learnings with whatever I had, little learnings that I had that I was able to share with you. I would just like to conclude by saying, use design thinking to design your thinking to help you design your entrepreneurial journey. So I wish each and every one of you all the very best. And thank you so much for having me. And I really enjoyed sharing my little learnings that I had.
Thank you, ma'am. I must say it was a really nice way to end the entire webinar. Thank you so much for that. And any which way, from today onwards, I've become your big time fan, to be very frank. So I'm going to catch you very, very soon. Anyways, right tomorrow we have GFS, so I'll be catching you right tomorrow. So that's really nice. And I would also like to extend my gratitude to all the participants who have been so active and so generous in being asking so many questions and things. So I'm sure this session was really very, very informative, and it will help you to decide and utilize your design thinking. So you can also, a lot of students, a lot of participants were asking that, can we use the PPT? Can we look back in the slides and things? This video will also be live on the YouTube, GIBS YouTube channel. You can just log onto that. You can just have a look around, and you can utilize that so that anything it makes sense. It will always be helped to grow better. Right. And one small announcement is on this next 28th, we are coming out with the MDP, that is Management Development Program. So I invite all the participants to be there on 28th, and do follow us on the social media so that you can find most of the relevant content and a lot of things which will help you to gain more information and knowledge. Thank you so much, Shikha ma'am, once again. And
thank you so much,
everyone, all the participants. Have a great time ahead. Please do take care.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.